Hi Saviors, GH here. Today we're going to check out the Jack of all trades build, which consists of Crusader, Druid, and Priest. In this video, I'm going to show to you guys why I call this build the Jack of all trades build, by of course showing to you guys each classes, what they do, and all the good stuff. And with that said, here is Crusader, Druid, and Priest. Let's do this. Okay, here's the build. We got Crusader, Druid, and Priest. Before we start, let's talk about Cleric. In the recent updates, they added a new attribute called Heal Urgent Target. This will make healing the lowest HP party member faster. Problem with this is the heal amount is cut down. And because it's fast heals, it's also gonna consume so much SP. Now, the Cleric class can also increase the healing ability of the whole build by using Guardian Saint. And if you take the attribute called Fate, the increased healing ability will become magic damage increase for 30 seconds. Turn this on depending on the situation you're in. Another important Cleric spell is Fade. This will make you lose Malice and somewhat Fade. There are some instances that you can use this to avoid certain raid boss attacks, and there's an attribute for this that removes the Fade effect and replaces it with a 0.5 seconds iframe. A bit unreliable, but you gotta get used to timing it perfectly. It also reduces damage taken for a few seconds. Okay, let's start with Crusader. Now, Crusader is a class that is usually chosen as the main magic damager of a build, but it can also act as a below average healer. The reason this class is here is because this is what you're gonna use to deal damage in the new season server. And when on challenge mode and your role is a healer, Crusader is gonna be your backup heals. When Cortas Mata and Mass Heal is on cooldown, it's not the greatest healer class. In fact, it kinda sucks. But still, at that 5 seconds without Cortas Mata, any heals will suffice. Let's look at the spells. First off is Chant. With this, you can choose to prioritize damage or healing, and that affects Crusader skills. There's an art for this that lets you use both, but the healing effect only gives 70% of its OG effect. Second spell is Protection of the Goddess. When in Retribution mode, this is your strongest attack, and when on Blessing, it's a decent party heal. And there's an attribute for this called Protect, and what it does is when you're inside the Protection of Goddess area of effect, you will receive less damage by about 20% at max. Third spell is Retaliation. It's an attack that deals moderate area damage and can also heal. Next spell is Condemn. When on Retribution mode, it packs quite a punch, but when on Blessing, its healing ability sucks, to say the least. Fifth and last spell of Crusader we're gonna cover is Sacred. Another very good magic attack. You need to hold it for it to continue attacking. Its healing ability is not good, much like Condemn. And that's Crusader, home of the strongest magic attacks in the Cleric class 3 and also the suckiest heals. Now let's head on to Druid. Now, Druid is a shape-shifter class that can improve the combat capability of any build because it can work with physical and magic attacks. It can also heal. Now, there's two reasons why this class is here. One is to improve the damage of the build, and second is to provide spam heals, which is good for endgame content. Let's take a look at the spells. The heal that I'm talking about is called Cortas Mata. Its base effect is it deals damage and also heals, but for a low amount of heal. Now, there's an art for Cortas Mata that can fix that. It's called Healing Garden. It basically turns Cortas Mata into a very good spam heals. Now, keep in mind that Cortas Mata has a duration of 15 seconds and 20 seconds cooldown. That means there's a 5 seconds downtime on heal spam. Now, if your party member is getting destroyed at that 5 seconds downtime, your next go-to heal is Mass Heal, which is a priest skill. We're gonna talk about that in a bit. But if it's not enough, you can use Crusader heals. More specifically, Protection of Goddess heal, which will recover HP and also decrease damage taken. Then there's also Retaliation, a decent party heal. And if it's still not enough, just use your Cleric heals with the Treat Urgent Target attribute, because that will make healing faster, but will heal for a low amount. Next spell is Lycanthropy. This turns you into a wolf with increased stats and its own attacks. But ignore it and just turn on its attribute called Human Form. And that will give you the ability to use all your skills and still gain a significant boost in crit rate and damage. Next spell is Terea Trough. This will give you more critical damage for 15 seconds, both magic and physical. The next is Thorn. This is a high skill factor frontal area attack that can also make enemies bleed. Then there's Henge Stone. This one will increase the level of your magic circle attacks by 1 and also increases the damage of druid skills. Keep in mind that most Crusader skills are magic circles, and Cortas Mata is also a magic circle, so always keep this up. Now let's tackle shape shifting. This will allow you to transform into a monster that is in front of you, assuming it's an animal, plant, or insect type. This is a for fun spell. I suggest you try to copy this monster called Hogma Captain, located in Sacariel Crossroad, because it can summon 3 Hogma minions. It's mostly for fun. Now, after copying a monster, you can easily turn back into the previously copied monster by using Transform. And again, this is a for fun spell. You don't need to take shape shifting and transform. It's a for fun skill. And that's Druid. It's one of the best class in the Cleric class 3, if not the best. And now let's head on to Priest. Now, Priests are clerics that can give buffs, instantly kill demon and mutant types, provide protection from death at least one time, and also provide mass heal. And those are the reason this class is here. Let's check out the spells. First is mass heal. This is your go-to heal when your party members are in danger. But in this build, it's going to be your backup heal when Cortas Mata is on cooldown. Next is Turn Undead. This spell has a chance to instantly kill mutant or demon types. And in Dimensional Collapse Point, most enemies are mutant and demon type, which makes this spell one of your most valuable one. Third spell is Revive. This is a buff that protects you from dying one time for 2 minutes and has a 2-minute cooldown outside raids and 5 minutes inside raids. Fourth and last spell we're gonna cover is Aspersion. It's a party buff that increases the whole party's defense. It's an important buff because getting hit by physical attacks is very common. And that's the build. A very versatile build that can do pretty much everything. And now let's do the good and the bad. Let's start with the bad. The only bad thing here is this build, as I've said, can do a lot, and that's not a negative. There's a but. It's not great at most of what it can do, like healing. It's usable, but you can do better with a pure healer support build. And in damage, again, it's usable, but you can do better with a pure damager build. It's not a specialist. Okay, let's do the good stuff. The good thing about this build is, I already said it, this build is good for pretty much everything. Not that great, but you're good enough. You can be a healer support here in raids and also provide damage if the situation arises. You can also use this in challenge mode. You can either be a DPS or a healer with this build. You can also do Dimensional Collapse Point with this build because you have an unlimited supply of Turn Undead. Lastly, I recommend this build because you can easily tweak this build when the time comes you wanna be a healer support or DPS. You can change this into a DPS by changing Priest to Exorcist or Sadhu. And you can be a pure healer support by changing Crusader to DM or Kabbalist, whatever you prefer. All in all, this build is awesome to start out with in the new season server because you will be ready for pretty much most of the endgame content. And that's it guys, the Jack of all trades build. I hope this build helps, and if you like the video, hit the thumbs up, share, and then subscribe to be part of the Gaming Hardcore family. And as always, this is Gaming Hardcore. See you in the next one.
Yeah, yeah.